Climate change has been described by the World Health Organization as the greatest global threat to health in the 21st century. But what is the link between climate change and the current pandemic? Well, many of the sources of greenhouse gas emissions also emit air pollutions that raise the risk of heart disease, chronic respiratory disease, stroke, and other conditions that also increase the fatality of the current COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, on the policy end of it, many international negotiations, such as the Convention on Biological Diversity, have been pushed back to unknown dates or even just until next year, or as a result of finances being negatively impacted by the pandemic. Some countries and private companies have delayed or even worse, canceled investments in renewable energy or climate action policies.
And since we're going to be home more, some people may think that pollution and climate change as a whole will cease to exist. However, this is not the case. Though air pollution has decreased since quarantine, other factors persist, affecting countless of low-income communities, including countries internationally as well. In fact, there's no coincidence that Black and Brown communities are not only affected more so by climate change, but also statistics are revealing that they are the worst affected by the COVID pandemic as well.
My name is Cherie Simpson, and I'm this year's HUSA Campus Health Director.
I'm Naja Woodards, and I'm serving as Associate Director for HUSA's Campus Health.
And my name is Destiny Hodges, and I'm the Director of HUSA Sustainability.
Today on HUSA Campus Health's third Wellness Wednesday streaming, we're going to see what we can do to curb the effects of climate change right from our living room by giving you guys 10 ways to fight climate change at home. Our first tip is to buy one big bottle of hand sanitizer and then disperse it into already existing plastic bottles rather than having just multiple single-use bottles. So hand sanitizers always come in plastic. Because of this, up to 100 million empty hand sanitizer and soap plastic bottles have been used during the corona pandemic and are likely to end up in landfill sites.
Our second tip is to design your workspace around light. A lot of people are working from home full-time or taking classes online full-time, like Howard students who are now at home for the rest of the semester. So it's good to see what light is in your workspace. You might not have to have a light on all day, Vitamin D is great. So if you can maximize the natural light in your space, not only will it help you feel better, it'll help you save down on electricity and extend the life of your light bulbs.
Which leads us to number 3. If you do need to use electrical light, try using LED lights instead of the traditional light bulbs like fluorescent lights. Quality LED light bulbs can last 25 times longer, are more durable, and use at least 75% less energy than other light bulbs.
And our fourth tip is actually something I'm so happy that I've been seeing so many Howard students doing, and that's investing in reusable masks. The wearing of reusable masks by the public could avoid 66,000 tons of contaminated plastic waste being generated in a year. So just learn how to properly wear these reusable masks, learn how to wash them, please, and just change them if necessary.
Our fifth tip is to create a compost garden from food scraps in your kitchen. So you can take all the scraps from your produce, your fruit, your veggies, and take it outside in your backyard to make fertilized soil to grow more food for you and your family.
Tip number 6, hang up your clothes to dry. If you have a backyard with the hot summer sun, now is a great time to start hanging up your clothes instead of drying them. This can help reduce carbon dioxide output and is much more gentle on your clothes opposed to using a dryer. It gives more wears for your favorite jeans and tops, and also the sun also does help with brightening your clothes as well.
And our 7th tip is eat less meat. Now that our diets are not strictly limited to whatever Annex or Blackburn is making, see if you can take control of your bodies and Earth's health, curb food waste, and also save money by consuming less meat each week or slowly transitioning into a non-meat diet.
Tip number 8, walk to a nearby park. You don't always have to take a car. If you're in the city, take a scooter, take a bike. Although bike is nice too, but take a walk, get outside, enjoy the sun, absorb the vitamin D, and just have a good time and enjoy nature. That way you won't have to take a vehicle to emit CO2, and you can just enjoy.
Tip number 9 is shop locally and Black. So small businesses have been greatly affected by this pandemic. A lot of our communities are surrounded by little corner stores that are Black owned. So all those big grocery store runs are not really necessary if you could get most of your things right there. But it also helps us to invest or reinvest in our Black and Brown communities.
And finally, tip number 10, get politically active and vote. Although it's important to take action to reduce our individual carbon footprint, we also need to focus on changing the bigger system. That is where we have the greatest opportunity to reduce emissions and combat climate change itself. Vote for leaders on all levels of government who take climate change seriously. They should commit to setting science-based targets to reduce harmful carbon emissions, implementing clear plans to reach those targets, and adapting to climate change and shifting to a cleaner energy economy. Make sure that you're registered to vote and get informed about all elections, especially state and local elections. These are the areas that do not get the most media attention but matter the most. Candidates' positions on climate change vary widely, so research their platforms and also their voting history. Ask questions about climate change at town halls, debates, and let your candidates know that you are voting for a cleaner future. Know that your vote and who you vote for matters.
This is a climate election year. We're limited on time when it comes to the climate crisis. We have to change right now. We can't wait till 2050 because we might not even be here in 2050. So it's very, very important that you get out and vote. View the policy platforms of candidates who are running. Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris have just released a climate plan. Please read it. Find out what's going on. Meanwhile, Trump thinks that climate change is a hoax. So it is very important that you're knowledgeable about what's going on. And to piggyback off of what Cherise said earlier, it's no coincidence that climate change impacts Black and Brown communities the most. Environmental racism exists. We have to talk about environmental justice, where we make sure people of color, Black people, are involved in the policy-making decisions that affect their communities so that coal mines and coal plants aren't built in their communities, so that doesn't affect their asthma, so that their electricity can be renewable and solar and be from the community so they don't have to pay extremely high electricity bills. So things like Cancer Alley in Louisiana don't happen. So that things like COVID-19, you can actually get the health care that you need. This is all a part of climate change and all a part of your environment. And climate change, which is our warming world, only exacerbates all of these issues. So please make sure you get out and vote and learn more about environmental racism by reading some articles online, reading a couple of books. But there's some great materials to read out there. There are some great podcasts such as Black and Breathless by Generation Green, such as the Plantarian podcast for you to learn more about living a more sustainable life, what environment means in the context of the Black community. That's not only the natural environment, but our political, geographical, and social as well, and how we can fight for a better world that we want to live in. So be sure to get out and vote and learn about the climate policy and action that is involved in this election.
So how do you guys stay in tune with all of this climate change tips and just events that are happening on campus? Well, you can follow like the sustainability environmental clubs that are on campus, such as the HU Climate Change Club, the Society for Holistic Living and Meditation, HU Water and Environment Association, Soul Track HU, and Howard Energy and Environmental Law Society. And all of these clubs are actually a part of a coalition called the Howard University Student Sustainability Committee, and they've been doing some great work. So if you also want to follow them on Instagram, do that. So yeah.
All right. A huge thank you to Cherise and Destiny for being here and everyone that tuned in. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for more content by Howard University Student Association and specifically Campus Health. Thank you all and stay safe.